Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We're back at you here in Pennsylvania. Long travels back from Nevada. 24 hours ago, I was in Los Angeles and took the overnight flight, got back into Pennsylvania, and we're good to go. So thank you for being here. It's nice to have all my bells and whistles back. I can tell you that. JDO, Navigator. That's a man that hasn't had sleep in 2 days. I haven't slept on that flight last night. Moderator, King Raccoon, thank you for being here, my friend. Jeffrey Burnett, another moderator out of Forest Hill, California. Don Gentilini down there, Virginia. I think that's where you probably are. You travel some. Yeah, we've got some interesting things we're going to be looking at. Linda Cassio, Greenville, PA. Welcome to you. Featherhat, my friend. Appreciate you and your kind comments. And you are correct. Slava Ukraina, Rick Berry. To that, I will say, Geroim Slava. Chuck Pinkham checking in there from San Jose, California. Welcome to you. Julia V. Augustine. Do not miss the V. Welcome to you. Rainwater, Seattle. That's Pat Shove. Rainwater, Seattle, Washington area. Hernan Conti. Welcome to you, my friend. Hola a todos. Saludos desde Argentina. Hello to everyone. Greetings from Argentina. Yeah, my Spanish not bad. Paul Kiss, resident Canadian, Pennsylvania. We'll be talking about Canada tonight and Trudeau. Something interesting happened. Angie Kuhn, welcome to you. Much appreciated. Amy Durave. Okay, we're rolling up great streams on an iPad. Thank you, my friend. Tim Ryder, welcome to you, my friend. Andrea Schoaf, welcome to all of you guys, ladies. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Full update. I appreciate you all. A little more difficult when I'm traveling, but I travel a lot, learning good Spanish. Thank you, my friend. I wish my Spanish was as good as my Russian, but it's not. Desaid, welcome to you. Checking in from Oklahoma. I'll be in Oklahoma November 5th through the 11th. I'll be in Oklahoma City. So, hi there in Oklahoma. Thank you guys for liking, sharing, commenting. Hey, we've got something really cool coming up. It's in the process of date content, but we're going to do a joint stream right here with ATP Geopolitics. We were chatting earlier today when I was on the plane. This is a gentleman out of Great Britain who's been, crazily supporting Ukraine, and got connected to him through actually King Raccoon, and we started communicating. So we're going to do something cool, joint live stream there with him, and it'll be fantastic. So you do not want to miss that for sure, and we'll keep you updated on that. So let's jump right into it. Actually, let's do this first, and let's make sure. So yes, right here, as you can see this moment, and it is 9:04 p.m. Eastern Standard, 4:04 a.m. in Ukraine, 6:04 out there in the West. Khmelnytsky is under drone alert, as well as Ternopil, Rivne, and Zhytomyr. Now, that has been that way for the last 4 or 5 hours. Khmelnytsky has already shot down 4 drones, but I can tell you right now, there is 1 drone flying around trying to hit the Starokonstantinov air base. And it's still flying around. In fact, this is how Zhenya and I were communicating, and that's Eastern Standard Time there. So that's 2 hours and 12 minutes ago. At this moment, Khmelnytsky region is on air alert. All Shaheeds. We're going to Starokonstantinov, the air base. 4 shot down, more coming. And then the next language, the next message written there in Ukrainian says there's another drone that's flying around the same area, Starokonstantinov Air Base, and we can't get it. So it's still there. And if you look, I took a screen capture of the air alarm when Zhenya sent that to me, and now you can see the comparison here. These four. Welcome to your Ricochet, Lynn Fireball, you and Harold down there, Skeg. Raccoon, I assume you saw the message. Jonathan and I connected, and we're going to be having a live stream coming. Skeg, welcome from Australia. So that was the update Zhenya sending. I do have a message from Zhenya. He's gotten a hold of some information over there in Ukraine because, believe it or not, Ukrainians are following the war in Israel to the equal amount they follow the war in their own nation. And why is that? Because they know they're connected via Russia and Iran. They know it. So they're following both very, very closely, and we'll be checking on that. You'll hear from Jane in a little bit. Avdiivka. This is interesting. In fact, I'll go here in a minute and give you the front line look, but the Russians are starting to build a tunnel network under Avdiivka, right there at the highway system. In fact, let me do this image here, and I'll go in here and show you. This is Avdiivka. You guys said you wanted better maps. I'm giving you better maps. And then if I hit that button, and then I go down here and mark up, I can now write on it. So this is the E50. This is the, right here, this is the E50 highway coming down. And as you can see, Russia crossed it, and now they're pushing on into Avdiivka. But what Ukraine is discovering is there's a huge amount of underground tunnels that Russia has been building. And the question I would have for you guys is, what does that sound like? Sounds exactly like what Israel is having to deal with in their war with Gaza and Hamas. Now, since we're there, let's take a look, because Ukraine did make a good push on Klishivka, and I'll show it to you. Let's go back to the iPad, and we'll start up north. As you can see with Kupiansk here, Russia's still pushing. This is their best area. They filled in some of the pockets, but nothing overly major. It stays the same. If I come down, this is smooth as silk with this iPad now. This is the Seversk pocket, which is above the Circle Road here with Slovyansk and Kramatorsk, Druzhkivka, Konstantinivka. Here you go. This is the best news we have right now on the east, and it's Klishivka. If you guys remember, let me do this and mark up. Do that. This is that, let's go to the pen. This is that railroad track I kept showing you guys. That line right there. And that had been the line. Ukraine now controls that railroad track, and they have pushed on beyond it out of Klishivka. So that's really good news. That battle has been going on for weeks, literally, at that railroad crossing. I've shown you video from that, even from the Russian side. We come on down to Avdiivka, and it's bad. In fact, let me show you some video out of Avdiivka.
Тут були минулого разу. Все було, бляха-муха, інакше просто виглядало. Це просто якийсь,
You're just saying it's just all gone. Everything's destroyed.
Тут там у мене ще люди. Дві людини залишилися.
There's only two people still right here. I've shared with you guys that Avdiivka is going to look like Bakhmut, and basically it already does. It's not going to look like Klishivka, because Klishivka, every home is leveled to the ground and burnt to the ground. But these are big buildings. It's a big city, a bigger city, but it's going to look like Bakhmut. Everything destroyed there in Avdiivka. Now, Kherson, mandatory evacuations. This is interesting. In fact, let me do it this way for you guys. So we're going to come down. I'm now moving toward the south. This is zoomed in a lot here, so hang on. This, of course, up here is Zaporizhia. And if you come down into the pocket below Rykov, you can see Robitny and you can see Verbovy over here. Russia has pushed back on both, but we really have very, very little movement. It's just brutal battles down there. If we come towards Kherson, I'm going to zoom in for you guys now, and I'm going to share something with you here. So here's Kherson. Hernan Conti. Are civilians still living in Avdiivka? Yes, there are thousands of civilians still living in Avdiivka on the western side. Believe it or not, there's still thousands in Bakhmut. They're now occupied. They are the remnants that just never left. Older folks, families that had to stay and take care of older folks, and then they're occupied. So, yes, there are still plenty of people left in Avdiivka. Now, Kherson region, mandatory evacuations. This is for children. They're not mandating, and the Ukrainian government and military, that, older folks or adults with no children. But if you have children connected to you, you must leave. Period. Now, they've only really done this one other time for a mandatory evacuation. I remind you, it was Sumy. They did a mandatory evacuation, and then they backed it down because of so much kickback to very strongly suggested evacuation. But now this one's mandatory, and it's not going to change because every town here is being pounded. So I'm going to go to the iPad now and show you. It's 24 towns. So I'm going to zoom in really good here, and you guys see Kherson there. If you go out of Kherson and up the river, first village or town you get to is a suburb of Kherson, Antonivka. And that's where the Antonivka Bridge was. It's now gone. If you come up the river, you come to Prudniprovsky. You then come to Sadovy. And then you see the river going up right here. This river is called the Ingolets River. And every village I'm going to show you and name for you, we have been in, served, dropped aid, and will be back in. We help every village here, every one, and they're all mandatory evacuations now. So Sadovy, Mykolaiv, you come up to Ponyativka, Tokarivka, Novtyaginka, Ivanivka, and you notice these are right on the river. For example, Ivanivka, we have dropped lots of aid in Ivanivka with military, literally right there on the curve on the river. And, with cover. If you come up here, this is Taginka, mandatory evacuation. Lvovy, mandatory evacuation. Olivka, mandatory. Burgunka, mandatory. Mykolaievka, Odrachka, Kazatsky, Vesely. This is where we've dropped all the water containers. This is where the Novokakhovka Dam is. Mandatory evacuation. Now, this is a big one. This is Berislav, the biggest city on the river other than Kherson. Mandatory evacuation. Now you're talking about thousands here. You leave from there, you come over to Novaya Berislav, which is basically Berislav and New Bereslav, same city. Then Zmivka. We've been right in Zmivka, right on the river, delivering aid. And then you have Chervony Maik. You have Respuba Kenets, Milove, Kacharivka, Sabluvika, Duchan, Gavrilivka, Novo Alexandrivka, Mykolaievka, right here. Zhenya, we've been right on the river. Mykolaievka delivering aid. Zolota Balka, the same for there. Oskorivka, Mariansky, Grushivka, Pakrovsky, Kapulivka, all the way to Nikopol. Now, folks, you may ask, okay, how much territory is that? If there was no war and Zhenya and I drove that T403 road from Nikopol to Kherson, 3 hours. With the war, 12 hours, 10 hours, just depends on what's going on, or 2 days. So that's the regions we're talking about there. Every city there is being evacuated. When it's mandated, did Putin have a heart attack? No, he did not. 100%. So here's what's interesting about that question. Putin did not have a heart attack, but do you know, at the same time that the reports were going out that Putin's having a heart attack, actually, there was a heart attack, and it was the CEO of Gazprom, a gas company. Now, he had a heart attack and died. But just interesting. The news was coming out that Putin had a heart attack, but actually a very important person did have a heart attack, and it was the Gazprom CEO. With mandatory evacuations, how many suitcases are allowed per person and pets? So, number one, pets are allowed. Number two, they don't have suitcases. What they have is bags, and they're like a canvas material, probably 3 feet by 3 feet square and a foot wide. They load those. They'll have 3 or 4 of those. They'll load those up. And that's what they have, and that's it, because everything else is going to be, no high-rise window was available. No, they didn't have a window to push him out of, so they just dropped some drops or something, and he had a heart attack. But it was interesting, and I thought about that because I knew somebody would ask tonight. Great, I need a puppy name. What are some popular Ukrainian dog names? Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Let me let me think. Bingo was his name. Oh, I'll check on that. Now you got me on that one. That was a good question. I'll check. If Zhenya pops in here, we'll ask him. So that's the Kherson region. Now, folks, I want to show you this. You've probably already seen it, although it's crazy that this did not hit mainstream news. This is the Kharkiv Nova Poshta distribution. Now, looking at that road right there on the left, that is the highway between Poltava and Kharkiv. And that is a Nova Poshta distribution center. You may ask, what does Nova Poshta mean? I don't understand. So Nova means new, and Poshta means mail or post. So new mail. Basically, it's FedEx or UPS, but it's inside Ukraine. I think they just opened their first office actually in Estonia, and it's called Nova Poshta. This is the company that you guys donate money for, where we ship a lot of goods. I mean, a lot of goods. And Nova Poshta, since it's humanitarian aid, We work with them with discounts, with everything. So when we are, for example, dropping aid in Kharkiv, maybe we'll be dropping some aid in Poltava first or up at Sumy. We would then come down to this Nova Poshta, load up again, and keep going. I want you guys to see right where it's at. Let's go here. So here's Kharkiv, the huge city, which is way, way bigger than Israel, by the way. Israel just would take up 10% of Kharkiv, just for a reference of how big Kharkiv is. But this Nova Poshta is where the E105 right here hits the M3. It's right there on that corner, right there. And you can see it's on the road between Poltava, right here, and Kharkiv. Now, there's an Oko right across the street. We've ate there. We've gotten gas there. We've parked there. And I can't even believe this doesn't hit the, notice the ring roads. Yeah, absolutely. Kharkiv, designed very much with the ring roads like Moscow. You know, Kharkiv's the closest city to the Russian border, the big one. If you come to Kyiv, you don't see the ring set up as much, and that's because of the river. But it would have the ring if it wasn't for the river. But Kharkiv, yeah, really good example of the rings. It's actually smart. It's how Washington D.C. is designed, spoke and wheel. But that Nova Poshta there, guys, 6 employees killed instantly, 17 wounded. And what I want you to, here's the impact. No sound, but you'll just see it before the security feed is cut. So that's it. And if you look, you see, let me pause it here. It's a depot. And what we do when we pick up goods, if you look at that image right there, we literally back up to the loading dock, just like a tractor trailer would, and they load us. They'll load our trailer, they'll load our truck. We utilize those docks and have been inside of these Nova Poshtas many, many times. Now, what's sad about this? This is the key distribution center for Eastern Ukraine. Tons and tons of aid goes through this Nova Poshta. Used to. It's now destroyed. This was an S-300 rocket. This is inside. You see the orange containers there? That's exactly what our humanitarian stuff is in. We pull up, they roll those carts out because those carts have been in the back of the tractor trailers being transported, and they load us. I can't tell you how many Nova Poshtas like this we've been in. This is exactly what we use. Exactly. So it's very sad and unfortunately just not hitting the news, and I really do not understand why. Now, Ukraine released their active air defense systems to this point. Mr. Wright, welcome to you. How is that military target? It's not. It's not a military target at all. In fact, I can show you, Nate. So this was hit from Bryansk. Let me zoom out here. Yeah. Let's do this. So this is a better way to show it right here. Let me just do this. So it was hit from, let me just show you the line. I can do this. It was hit from Bryansk to Kharkiv. That was the S-300 flight right there. So from Bryansk to Kharkiv. That was the strike. And Russia has pulled a lot of their systems back, and that would be because of the ATACMS. And they've pulled their helicopters back, and that's because of the ATACMS. But I can tell you also a couple of days ago that one of the largest thermal power plants. And this is not like one of the buildings I've shown you guys in the on the maps. That's inside the city or inside a block of buildings. If you're here tonight and you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you. Go to Khmelnytsky real quick. I could go to any city, but I just know this city backwards and forward. So right here, you can see a thermal plant. This is not what I'm talking about. Ukraine just hit a massive thermal distribution center and took it offline in the Khmelnytsky region. It's not going to be fixed for quite a while. And this is what they're starting to do. They've taken out the entire electrical grid down on the river where the cities I was just showing you that they evacuated. And it's just starting. And here we are, October the 24th. It's already cold. And here we go. So Ukraine put out the information. This is the air defense we have coming into this season. We know that Germany's looking at supplying more, but that'll take time. This is what they have right now. We do not give the numbers. These are just the systems. Their best system, of course, is the Patriot. I'll translate this for you guys. It gives 3 categories there. Number 1, it says the radius, how far around the vehicle or launcher it can touch. The second category or column is maximum distance that something can be shot. And the third column is the maximum height. So we have Patriots, we have SAMP-T, we have S-300s. It also tells you where they're from. The U.S., the SAMP, they're from Italy and France. The S-300s, of course, that's Soviet Union. We have Hawks from the U.S., Irises from Germany, the Buk systems, Russia, USSR, NASAMS, that would be Norway and U.S., the Aspide from Italy, the Crotale, whatever that is, from France, Sky Ranger 30, these are smaller systems, Germany, the Avenger, looks like it's on like a Humvee, U.S., the Gepard from Germany, and the Terrahawk from the U.K. So Ukraine saying this is what we have. And I can also tell you that Russia has moved in a brand new, this was just a few hours ago being released, a brand new batch of S-300 systems. We're talking modified, updated, in their opinion, perfect, ready to go, and plenty of supply. And they've moved them to Bryansk. Once again, I'll remind you guys of where this is at. It's the same place where they hit Kharkiv. Let's just do, it's right here. Bryansk is here. So let's just say from there to Kyiv, 400 kilometers. 400 kilometers. To Sumy, 270. In fact, they hit Kharkiv. It was 384. So that new system is going to touch this whole north like that. Not good. Not good. These are the air bases that Russia is currently using to strike Ukraine. It is 46 air bases, and they're using over 483 planes currently. That's counting the ones that Ukraine has destroyed. You know, the sabotage, shooting them out of the air, hitting them at the air bases. We're not talking about those. 480 airplanes that Russia is using against Ukraine, and those are the 46 active air bases that they're using. And they put that information out additionally with saying, and this is the air defense systems that we have to hold off this, to hold off this. And of course, you then have seaborne, and they said this is what we have. So, so they updated them just to fire them in the residential areas. Then, yeah, they zoned that in really good. And listen, this is what's interesting here. Um, Janice love you, honey. Okay, guys, that's my aunt. Scottsdale, Arizona. That's where she's from. So, if any of you guys say that, I'll come after you. No, let's go back. So, very interesting statement there. If you come back to Kharkiv here, this Nova Poshta. So, I think that was pretty accurate. Hit it right in the middle of the building. The other thing is that building is not close to the border. I mean, it is relatively, but it's not like on the border. It's on this side of Kharkiv between Poltava and Kharkiv. And they nailed it. So does Russia hit the targets they aim at? Absolutely. If the missiles are not deflected or taken out, they hit what they're aiming at. Therefore, we can understand that they do aim at hospitals, aim at schools, aim at gymnasiums, aim at churches, aim at, civilian targets. That's what they do. This is absolutely approved. They will defend that until the cows come home, that military supplies are being shipped through there. And it's just not true. Zero. In fact, I can tell you right now, and you guys know, we deliver military goods. We deliver important military goods. And I'm not talking about gloves and thermals. Components they need. I'll stop there. But if we are delivering military, it never leaves our side. We do not ship military supplies. I mean, gloves and thermals, clothes, yes. But we do not ship military supplies with our humanitarian goods ever. In fact, the military supplies is always even in the cab with us. We don't take any risk because we carry sometimes some very, very important components that we're delivering from one group to another. And you may say, okay, if you're here and you're skeptical, or you're watching this later and you're skeptical, and you would say, okay, well then basically you are a humanitarian guy running military, so you're a target. I'm aware of that, but it's not just, I'm a card carrying. So we understand it. This is what we have. So I don't have a problem carrying military stuff. I'm there to do that. I'm also there to tell the truth, but we do not mix ever. It's too dangerous, way too dangerous. We keep it with us. So that's the story on that. I hope that helps you guys have a little clarity on that. Now, Ruslan Stefanchuk. Many of you have seen huge pictures of this huge guy, always with Zelensky. So it's anytime he's traveling, this guy's always right behind him. Now, who is Ruslan Stefanchuk? Ruslan Stefanchuk is the Speaker of the House, basically. So Ukraine's in a war zone and they have a Speaker of the House. We can't elect a Speaker of the House. But Ruslan Stefanchuk came out as the Speaker of the House and said, listen, the 2024 election, it just can't happen. Zelensky has said, if you want an election, we'll do it. I'm not a dictator. But how can we have an election that's fair for even who would run against me? I'm not that power hungry. And I don't even want to run again after the war's over. But right now we're in a war. I'll stay until the war's over. And Ruslan Stefanchuk came out making a statement for the Verkhovna Rada. And he said, we have a problem if we try to force an election in 2024. And that is, how do we calculate the right of military personnel and their ability to vote and nominate if they're in the trenches? How do we calculate the vote of refugees, which are more than 10 million scattered throughout Europe and the world? How do precincts work at the frontline battles in villages and cities and towns? Why are we going to move finances, which is 5 billion hryvnia, to run an election for Ukraine instead of putting that to defending our homeland? And how do we ensure media access to the process so it's ethical without the influence of Russian propaganda. Those were his 5 statements. That's not Zelensky's statement. That is Stefanchuk. And it's fantastic. And I'll tell you what, you guys know Zelensky. Zelensky's about my size. That's one big dude right there. So if he said it, it's one thing for Zelensky to say, we need to think about our election. But when that big boy says it, I think people are going to pay attention now. So we'll see. That's what we're at with that. Do people living in the occupied areas get to vote? Great question with the wink. And the answer is, of course, not. But they're Ukrainians. Nathan Schussler. Let me see. It'll pop up on this other screen here. When it does, I'm going to pop it up there. That's, yes, he's speaking truth. 100%. 100%. So that's where we're at on the elections. Now, it's time to update you guys on Trader Carlson, on Viktor Orban, king of the commies, best friends with Putler and Grandpa Lukashenko. I am not going to lose my mind tonight. I'm just not. It's unbelievable. I shared with you guys from Nevada about 1 week ago that Tucker Carlson was going to get his own TV, his own channels, his own social media, everything put into Russian. And I even had people message me and say, man, how do you know that? I mean, that's like way out there to say Tucker Carlson's getting channels in Russia. So I messaged him back and I said, why is it way out there? I mean, really, I'm telling you it's going to happen. I'm watching Russian media. I know it's going to happen. Well, it happened. I voiced this over. So Tucker's in English. The voiceover's in Russian. And I put it back into English for you. Trader Carlson.
My dear friends from Russia, I'm now addressing you. I know that you watch my programs and in many ways you share my opinion. Thank you for that. I want to tell you some good news. Starting today, I have a Russian language Telegram channel, Tucker Carlson in Russian. Now all my content will be released there every day with translation into the Russian language. Subscribe. The link will be below this video. Thank you.
I mean, really. Let me show you the guys.
My dear,
so it says at the bottom, Tucker Carlson na Russkом. So it's Tucker Carlson. Trader Carlson in Russian. And then that's his Telegram channel, but he's going to be on TV. He's going to be on Russia 1, 24. He'll be everywhere. He'll be on vkontakte.ru. Honestly, this guy's passport ought to be pulled and he should be banned entry back into the United States, period. Now, what's interesting is, and I'm trying to find it, I didn't want to guess, but guys, I don't know where he is in that picture, but I'm going to tell you something right now. It looks to me like Moscow. If you see the building on the right, very long, I'm telling you guys, this is either Moscow, Minsk, I don't know, but I'm working to find out where it's at. Now, it's time to update you on Viktor Orban because he vetoed again the next aid package to Ukraine from the EU. So, no, it's not a U.S. city, guys. I'm telling you right now. It's
friends from Russia.
It's so okay. If I was to bet money, and I'm going to try to prove this, but I'm pretty confident it's Moscow. And I'm going to tell you why. A, I've been there many times, but okay, the domes, plenty of those in Moscow, just like that. No problem there. No problem. But if you see the brown building over his left shoulder, very long, typical Soviet. But that's not what pushes me over the edge. If you look at the black railing, it could be, Nathan, but if you look at that black railing, it could be Argentina. That building in the background, it looks like a shadow. That's the only thing secondarily to the buildings that make me think it could be. I don't know, because that looks like Moscow State University back there. Regardless, this is what we have. We have Orban. Now, we also have, let's worship, or could it be a green screen? Absolutely, it could be a green screen. I just know it looks like Moscow, and I've got Don coming in here who's been to Moscow many times as well. What really makes me think it's possible is it looks like Moscow State University in the back, the very famous building. We'll see. We'll find out. Okay, Hernan Conti looks like Argentina. Logic Lust, that didn't look like Buenos Aires. Okay, hold it. Okay. All right. Tonight's Tuesday night. We're going to be back tomorrow night. So I'm making my note. Find out 100% where that video. All right, guys, listen. Tucker, you give me 24 hours, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you enter the link I pass? If you explain that to me, Hernan, a little better, or you can put it in Spanish. My daughter's fluent. Pretty sure it's Argentina, Hernan. I'm going to go with you. You're down there. So that's why we have a global audience here. So we'll go with Hernan. We'll confirm it tomorrow. We're getting a trifecta here. We're getting a trifecta.
A lot of the horrible things, the world is exploding. If you take a look, I mean, the whole world is exploding. I was very honored as a man, Viktor Orban. Did anyone ever hear of him? He's probably like one of the strongest leaders anywhere in the world. And he's the leader of, right? He's the leader of Turkey. Fronts on both Russia. Front.
First of all, he's the leader of Hungary. Erdogan is the leader of Turkey. And I know, sir, that you have the ability from your egomaniac status where you think you are the second coming of the Messiah and you need to go away under a rock along with everybody else in politics in America, and let's get some fresh blood in our nation. Period. Go away. All of you, both sides, go away. And millions of people dripping off of your words, and you can stop the war in Ukraine in 24 hours by talking to your buddy Putler. And if you were in office, the war in Israel would not take in place. What a bunch of baloney. I am a Ronald Reagan Republican, guys. Okay? I'm not even a Republican now. I just look for truth, to be quite honest with you. I'm independent. I'm looking for truth. That's it. But what a tragedy. And yes, it does get worse. Hernan Conti, thank you, brother. It's Argentina, guys. We have a legend. It's nice when you have an Argentinian in the program. So Tucker was in Argentina. talking to the Russians. Between Tucker, Orban, and Trump, I'm sorry. It's just, I can't even believe you would say this. But you're a genius.
A lot of the horrible things, the world is exploding. If you take a look, I mean, the whole world is exploding. I was very honored as a man, Viktor Orban. Did anyone ever hear of him? He's probably like one of the strongest leaders anywhere in the world. And he's the leader of, right? He's the leader of Turkey. Fronts on both Russia.
Now, what he goes on about Russia and he goes on about Israel. It's just, listen, I'm not even giving that any more time. That's the update, guys. But listen, this is serious stuff because Russia will use Tucker Carlson like a pawn. He's nothing but a pawn. They'll use him and abuse him. He may have talent and ability, and he does. He's a good communicator, but he's lost his way. But he has no idea who he's messing with in the Kremlin. He will get smoked. Orban is a thug and a supporter of Vladimir Putin and an enemy to Ukraine. He's an enemy to Israel. And Trump praises him as one of the greatest minds and political leaders in the world. The president of Turkey. Well, it's very simple because Sunak, he's the prime minister of France, and Macron's the president of Italy. And I'm pretty sure that the Pope lives in L.A. and Mother Teresa never existed. It's just, come on, guys. It's just pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. Anyway, that's where we're at. That's what you need to know. I will tell you this. So guess what I did? I joined it. And I got blocked. So I'm wanting to go on there and join his Telegram channel. Well, I got blocked instantly. So I'm smarter than they are. Sorry, but I'm smarter than they are. And I just bounced it off of some servers in other places, and now I'm here. And I will keep you guys updated. You've got to get through some VPNs and bounce it off some servers to get there. If you have an IP address in the US, you're not getting on there most likely. But I'm there. This is his channel. It's just so much propaganda, guys. Travis Haley, founder of Magpul. In 96 hours, the world could be very, very different. It's anti-American. It's anti-Great Britain. I can't even believe the stuff that's on it here. He's taken this soldier. He's glorifying this. And folks, this is it. Listen, I go to Russian now. There you go. It's all in Russian. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's a traitor. Don, send me a message and I'll send it to you. You're going to have to bounce off of a VPN. Just send me a message. I'll help you. All right. Last things for tonight. Istanbul, Turkey. Where Orban's the president in Turkey. These are the signs in Istanbul. Israel's terrorist and glorifying Hamas. Secretary General of the United Nations is now making outrageous and sickening statements. The Security Council of the UN, quote, "It should be recognized that the Hamas attacks did not happen in a vacuum. The Palestinians are under a suffocating occupation. Their lands are taken. Their lands are taken." King David way before them, sir. The economy is paralyzed and their homes destroyed. The prospect of a political solution is fading. It's over for political solution. We are 1 millimeter from World War III. U.S. Secretary of State Tony or Anthony Blinken at the Security Council, in the words of the UN Secretary General. Where is the outrage from him? Where is the explicit condemnation of these atrocities? We must affirm the right of every nation to defend itself and prevent such attacks from happening again. The Israeli ambassador replied, the UN Secretary General, who shows understanding for the campaign of mass murder of children, women, and the elderly, is not fit to lead the UN. This guy is he Portuguese, I think, Guterres. I call on him to resign immediately. There's no justification or point in talking to those who show compassion for the most terrible atrocities committed against the citizens of Israel and the Jewish people. There are simply no words. And I will tell you this, that every person that has went to Israel, no comparison, went to Israel, governmental leaders from around the world supporting Israel, showing up, whether it's Sunak out of Great Britain, Biden, Blinken, whoever, other Macron, whoever, they have been shown the video and the photos that the world hasn't seen. And each one of them understands how bad it is. So that's where we're at on that. Now, while all of this is happening, here is Sydney, Australia. Skeg, get over to Sydney. Here in the United States, we have quite a few of our House of Representatives members who are tripling, quadrupling down on the incorrect information that Israel blew up the hospital. So we have people in the House that need to be removed, period. Here is India. What's funny about India is they're supporting Palestine marching, but I guess they couldn't get Palestinian flags. They are carrying Italian flags. Free Palestine. They carry Italian flags. Now, I'm gonna go out there a little bit on this one. This is my opinion. I have nothing to support this at all. Just my opinion, and that is this: they are marching in India, free Palestine, carrying Italian flags. Okay, if you're in India and you can get an Italian flag, you can get a Palestinian flag. It would not surprise me that was not Russian propaganda paying for a march and giving them the wrong flags just to keep the heat on. I'm telling you, that's what would happen. Something like that is what would happen. Well, let me show you one more here. All right, for our friends in Great Britain, this is the Underground.
Free Palestine! Hope you will have a blessed day today. Look after yourself. Look after yourself. Be free Palestine!
Be free Palestine.
Be free Palestine! Hope you be free Palestine! Hope you will have a blessed day today. Look after yourself. Give a big shout out to everybody. And keep all those people in your prayers.
Have a blessed day. Keep all those people in your prayers and free Palestine. Well, how about our Canadian friends? We've got Canadians watching.
Ministry here. We have ministers of the crown here. We have MPs here. We ask all of you. We ask all of you to listen to him. And if you want, please engage in dialogue.
How many more Palestinian children need to be slaughtered? How many more before you call for a ceasefire?
Boo! Boo!
That's 6,500 under the rubble.
The bottom line is, guys, we just have a lot of we've got some issues going on, and if you really think this is just going to end tomorrow, forget it. Not happening. The war in Ukraine is going to go on for years because Ukraine is not going to give up their territory. And Russia is going to fight for years. They don't care. Secondly, the war in Israel, the world may think that Israel is going to stop. And this delay in the ground invasion is because they're probably not going to do it. Forget it. They are going to level Gaza to the ground. It's going to happen. What they're doing is they're waiting for more American resources to be put in proper places. We know that the Eisenhower has been rerouted from the Med. It's going around to the Persian Gulf. It's getting serious. Jania has a comment about that, and that's what we're going to end with. Now, isn't it good? We've got viewers from all over the world. So we got Argentina information. So that train driver, Mark McLaren, has been suspended. And then we'll get the pure Queen's English. That tube guy got sacked. That's the Queen's English there. So good. But looked like to me people on the tube were answering him. Yay. So I know we've got issues, guy. We may go on until there's no one to fight. That's good. That's correct. Yeah, you're right. To say the Holy War, Bush tried to avoid Putin are actively encouraging. I believe that completely. That's why I would suggest to you guys that it's possible it was Russian propaganda running that Indian thing. It's crazy. Now, last thing for tonight, Vinjania. Pentagon released information today that since October 17th, more than 10 attacks against American bases in Syria and Iraq, and we have 24 wounded in those attacks. I can tell you about 90 minutes ago, Iran struck Syria. Israel struck Syria very aggressively. I've got video out on that. I just wasn't able to get it loaded up. On the left side, you have a document released by the Iranian militia, Al-Wad al-Haq, based in Iraq. And they basically said in that, written in Arabic, that we're going to war. We are going to war. We're coming. We can't take this with a grain of salt anymore. This is where we're at. Last thing for tonight, here is Jacob.
Hey there. I don't know, have you heard or not, but one of the reasons why there is some delays in the ground operation in Gaza and some other reasons of involving a little bit of US Navy, let's say, aircraft carriers, possibly, maybe connected to the fact that seems to me Saturday or less than a week ago, there were high rank Israeli officers was captured by Hamas, and this is why they need to change now Israel IDF all the plans. Saying it other way, IDF had some plans, and probably the high rank officers they knew that plans, and according the doctrine of IDF, if the military guys, officers, soldiers being captured, they have their main goal is to to save their lives. So this is why they are not obligated to hold all the secrets. They have to share it if it be demanding. So this is why IDF, as I know, at this moment are changing the main plans, and it takes a little bit time. Just some info. What do you think about that?
So there you have it, guys. It's interesting. You guys know Zhenya from being in here, and he's there in Ukraine. You could see he already had his thermals on. It's cold. Those are thermals that you guys, all of us, have bought together. Thank you. But I share with you that Ukraine and Ukrainians are watching the war in Israel equally to their own war on their own land, because they are completely confident it's all connected and at the base of it is Russia and Iran, and they're accurate. They're very accurate. So, you know, they have information rolling that's really kind of crazy, because there are many, many, many Ukrainians there in Israel, and a lot of information. You know, I remind you, Ukraine was a hotbed and still is for many, many Jews. The city of Uman is a Jewish holy place. So Ukraine's connection to Israel is not just through the war, but it's through the ethnicity as well. Very, very, very connected. And it's so simple to see that we're looking at one thing. So guys, thank you for being here. I did, 2 bases being attacked tonight. That's correct. We also had, you know, guys, isn't it interesting? And I just want to say thank you to everybody, but, you know, Hernan's helping us from Argentina. We've got Don Gentilini, all his experience living in Eastern Europe during the heyday of the Soviet Union. He's able to add here. This is Paul Kiss. He's a Canadian living here in PA, giving the update on Trudeau isn't half the man his father was. Trudeau, that did not go well in Canada. I meant to give a comment on that. But, you know, and then all our friends from Great Britain, all of you military guys, our moderators, all of you that are here, we want to thank you. We've got a great, great community here, and appreciate all of you very, very much. So you guys be blessed. And it's Tuesday night right now, Wednesday morning in Ukraine. We'll be here in 23 hours. We're back on schedule. See you tomorrow night. Be blessed. Catch you later.
Слава Україні!